त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुंडलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्ष प्रदायिनी माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः।
And hello to everybody. Good evening or good morning, wherever we are in the world. It's lovely to be together like this for our meditation, Sahaja Yoga meditation. Shall we tie up our Kundalini together? And we tie up the second time, 2 knots. You probably remember the third time, 3 knots. And the putting on of a bandhan 7 times. It felt a good topic for this session would be related to our attention and what we grow from our attention. What I mean by that is what we put our attention on a lot can tend to become amplified in our life. And this evening is just to bring our attention back to our spirit. With everything that happens in life, it can be quite easy for us to get overwhelmed on occasion. Whether we go through a really hectic stage with our work, just out of the nowhere, everything seems to be just an enormous tidal wave of endless work. Or we might be really, really busy in our family lives. We'll just have a lot of really random, unexpected events happening one after the other. And we can get quite caught up in that sometimes and forget who we really are. And who we really are above and beyond everything else, is the spirit. That beautiful eternal part of ourself that goes on and is not limited by our conditionings or our constant thinking or focus on the physical body or our careers or relationships or anything else. When we identify ourselves, relate to ourselves as first and foremost the spirit, becomes so much easier not to be overwhelmed by what's going on in our life. You know, just to share I'll share something from a personal perspective. Some people might relate to this or relate to it in a different context. You know, I've found sometimes in my work lately, or for a while really, it's been really quite hectic. And, you know, depending on what our situation is in life and our background, we've got different types of conditionings. You know, so for me, there's quite a deep conditioning that, you know, the primary thing is I've got to look after my work situation and be sure everything's okay, because I've got to keep a roof over my head and, you know, all this sort of thing, instead of just relaxing and trusting it's going to be okay. There's some part of me at a deep level feels like I have to prioritize this situation, and instead I should always come back to knowing I'm the spirit, always place my spiritual ascent first, meditate, clear, use whatever techniques feels the right thing in the present moment. And this helps me come back to center. But sometimes when it's just been really big, everything happening, you know, it can sort of become really quite stressed and feeling like there's not enough time for everything in life. And then before you know it, it's like things don't feel so great, things don't flow so well. But then coming back to this centered place of spirituality and meditation by the grace of our Divine Mother, who's given us Kundalini awakening, so we can have this beyond the mind meditation and this connection with the all-pervading power. It just takes us into a completely different space, which is in reality, it is in the present moment. It's not escaping from anything. It's actually really being in the present moment. But we're not in that state of being bombarded with thoughts. We're not feeling like all these other circumstances in our life are the boss of us. But in actual fact, we're our own master. We looked after in such a precious, special way by the divine, and keeping our attention in that place where our spirituality is the primary experience, positive, uplifting connection with that beautiful all-pervading power. So in a little while, when we listen to Shri Mataji's speech, the speech is called What is the Spirit? It's actually a portion of a speech. I think the original speech is really quite long. Obviously, our whole program goes for about an hour. And this is just to remind us all, and help us all, and encourage us all just to remember who we really are, who we really are. We're not all this other stuff, but we're the spirit. And when we're identified with that, we're having our regular meditation, keeping our connection strong. And we're okay. We're more than okay, actually. Very abundantly okay. Before we listen to Shri Mataji's speech, shall we clear our channels together? Let's take our right hand and dangle it towards Mother Earth. Of course, if we happen to be sitting on the ground now, we can place our palm down directly on Mother Earth. So let's clear our left channel together. And close our eyes, bring our attention within if it's not there already. Lovely couple of deep breaths into the belly. There we go. Let's clear together. Let's ask inside ourselves, or even out loud where we are, Mother Kundalini, please clear my left channel. Mother, please remove my tendencies to dwell on the past. Please take away my attachments to being overly emotional. Mothering energy, please balance the qualities of my left channel. Mother, please balance my left channel. Can also be good to, sorry, my cat's just appeared. It can also be good to just look directly into the candle flame while we're clearing, and this can clear negativities through our eyes. It's really good for clearing this chakra here, our Agya chakra. And we can bring our right hand up to the lap. And shall we clear our right channel together? Let's bring our left hand up into the chimney position so that we can have the excess heat venting up into the ether. And let's ask, Mother Kundalini, please vent out the excess heat from my right channel. Mother, please cleanse my right channel of all that comes from my overthinking and overplanning, my overdoing. Please bring my right channel into a balanced state and take away my attachment to excessive thinking and doing and planning. Please let me trust and be surrendered to you, that I may flow in the divine vibrations. Mothering energy, please balance the qualities of my right channel. Shall we bring our left hand to our lap now? Let's bring our attention to our center channel. And let's ask, Mother Kundalini, please deepen my commitment to my spiritual ascent. Please, Mother, bring me into the center and let me be an integrated person. Let's have our attention within, knowing that these beautiful strands of our mothering energy is coming up through our central nervous system, so nurturing to us, coming up through all those nerves in the limbic area of the brain, the area of the 1,000-petaled lotus, up through the fontanelle bone at the top of our head, piercing there, coming through above the head, and having us connected to the all-pervading power that surrounds us and sustains us, gives us that beautiful flow of life within and without. Mothering energy, please purify my attention. Please stabilize my attention at Sahasrara, that I may know my yoga, my union, my connection. That I may know the deep peace that comes from this connection, and know myself as the spirit, not neglecting the other parts of myself, but just knowing that I am the spirit. I am truly the spirit. In a moment, we'll be listening to Shri Mataji speak. And it can be good to just allow her words to come in through this area up here at Sahasrara. Just listening at that level, allowing her words to come in. We will have Shri Mataji now. Thank you.
Be honest to yourself. You have no business to cheat yourself for anything whatsoever. If you are hypnotized, awaken yourself. Arise and find what is the best, absolute, and the only thing that you have to find, your spirit. Your spirit resides in the heart. It is the reflection of God Almighty. It enjoys itself by itself. It is the spectator of the work of its power, the Holy Ghost. It watches you and is called as the knower of the field. It knows what you are doing, what are your aspirations, what mistakes you are committing. It goes to a long extent to forgive and forgive and forgive. Forgiveness is one of the qualities of the Spirit. It forgives you and says, it will work out, it will come around. But when you go too far, say if you pay too much attention to your physical being or to your mental being, if you try to think too much, the spirit indicates its displeasure and you get a heart attack. Heart attack comes to you through displeasure of the spirit. If the spirit is angry with you, you get a heart attack. That means you have neglected your spirit, you have paid attention to things which are not important. You have looked after things which are not important. You have not worried about yourself about the spirit, about your seeking. Even if you lost, say in any fanatic behavior of reading some books and things and taking out certain things, remembering them by heart, and then having an argument and codes on it and all that. In all genuineness and goodness, but stupidity, then also you can get heart attack. Heart is very important. It sometimes gives you first warning by giving you a partial paralysis, because in the heart a sort of a resentment is created by the spirit, which creates a clot, and that clot, when it goes into the brain, you get a partial paralysis, so that you do not move any further. Your attention is taken to it. Then you start thinking of God, thinking of all the things, and maybe if you come to Sahaja Yoga, you get cured, because again your spirit forgives you. We are taking too much liberty with our spirit. It is true, God has given you freedom, and He is not going to take away your freedom at any cost. You have to be absolutely free to choose whether to go to heaven or to go to hell. He is not going to force you. Only thing one can do is to explain to you and tell you that this is the way you go to hell. Even then, if you want to go, then what can anybody do about it? Even God. He doesn't want to challenge your freedom at all. He doesn't want to make you in any way bound to Him, like some people are bound, just bound without understanding. But He wants your complete liberation. So first stage is that you have to choose your liberation through your own freedom of choice. Now, up to this point, till you were human beings, there was no choice for you. But after becoming a human being, you were given the choice because you could develop well to understand what is right and wrong in your own freedom, so that you can enter into the kingdom of God as people who are free and have chosen good in their own glory and in their own freedom. This is the only small little step where we always confuse our freedom with our ego. For example, now this hall is here, say, for me to speak. Right? Somebody comes from outside who has been sort of worked up in some sort of an organization and thinks that he's doing the greatest work in the whole world in such a myth. Comes down here in that ego state, sits down here, asks me questions after questions, questions after questions, questions after questions, doesn't allow anybody else to speak, takes away all my time to himself, as if this hall is booked by him and all the audience is gathered by him. He is least bothered as to see that this is an ego that is working. So we should not confuse our freedom with ego. That's what I have to give you a counsel. Try to differentiate your ego from your freedom. When you are ego bound, you are a slave of your ego. When you are super ego bound, you are a slave of your super ego, of your conditioning. For example, you are born a Christian, you are a Christian. You are gone forever then. Alright, you are a Christian, but what about real Christianity within you? What about your rebirth in the real sense of the word? So you become enslaved to these things, so there is no freedom. And spirit is the freedom, is the free being within us. It is detached. It cannot be killed. It cannot be blown away. It cannot be burnt away. It is eternal, Anant. It is eternal. That spirit is joy. That spirit is the source of joy, that emits joy. Joy is different from happiness and unhappiness. Ego, when it feels pampered, it feels happy. I like it, I like it. This I business is ego pampering. That is not joy, because you like to drink today and tomorrow you don't like to have a headache. It has the double side of I like and I don't like. You like something through your ego, dislike through your super ego. So it is a one coin and they have two faces, one is happiness, another is unhappiness. Joy is beyond that. Joy is a drama. Seer is a witness. You see a drama, you know it's a drama going on, you just watch it as a drama. You are not involved and you are seeing it and enjoying it. You are crying if you see something, you are weeping, but you know you are not that. It's a drama. Seer, the witness. Your spirit is the witness. And when you become the spirit, you become the witness. You become the witness. For example, you are seeing something through a window. There's something exists in the window, for example. Now you enter inside the room and you see through the window. Your conditioning is like one wave arising in you as a thought which comes from the past. It rises again, another thought comes up and goes in the past. First the past thought is there and then another future thought is there, it disappears. You see the thought rising but you can't see the disappearing of the thought. In between that is the present. That's the place is established, that present is established when your attention becomes enlightened by the Spirit. Either you think of the future or of the past. But I say now, at this moment, at the present, you cannot stand there because your spirit is not enlightened. Because spirit is the present. When you get your realization, you find that you are not thinking of the future or the past, you are just enjoying. Everything becomes different. The whole life becomes a drama and the joy out of it starts coming out. And you really enjoy small things here and there. And you really understand how much joy was lost before realization. This is not your mental thing that gives you joy, but the joy pours on you from your head just like this, a cool thing starts pouring down. As some people have a feeling of the tension rising up, it's the same way a cool sort of thing, flow of joy you feel in your whole body pours out. Sometimes this cool breeze that rises in the head also starts becoming like a fountain pouring down that joy. You look at the pictures, for example, see this star of Moses. You see David's star, you see that. When you see that, you can think about it. Or else you just watch this. Watch it and don't think. The joy of the creation of that thing, whole thing, becomes one with you. Like all the creation around, a lake is completely felt in the lake if the lake has no ripples. Completely. In the same way, all that is joy. The Creator, whosoever it may be, has put there. You get the complete joy within yourself because there is no thought. There is no barrier, no conditioning. The whole thing becomes one with you and you start feeling extremely happy, extremely joyous. A feeling which is indescribable. It is to be just enjoyed, to be felt. Like Kabira was asked, why don't you speak now? So he says in Hindi language, he's one of the terrific poets we have. He says, Jab mast hue fir kya bole? When I have gone into the nectar of the intoxication, of the spirit, now what can I talk? There's no word. No cup can fill this joy. No words can fill this meaning. You better be with me and get it and enjoy yourself. That's all he could say.
In a moment, we'll meditate along with some music. It's wonderful that Shri Mataji reminded us that if we get imbalanced in a certain way, we can actually cause ourselves some physical illness. And let's remember that choosing between heaven and hell, Sahaja Yoga is a heavenly state of being to have in our day-to-day life. And some of us compare that to maybe previous experiences we've had, which comparatively were a hellish state in life. And just remembering Sahaja Yoga is an experience, the state of being. So with our meditation during the music, let's keep our attention above the head. Remember, it's just allowing it to be there. It's not pushing, it's not struggling, just allow it to be there. And every so often during the music, I'll speak up just to remind us about keeping our attention here. Just a quick reminder on how to do that. And then we'll go back to listening to the music. So I'll do that every so often during the 10 minutes of the music. If thoughts disturb us, bring our attention above the top of the head. Have a forgiving attitude. Not this thought, I forgive this thought. Let it go. resting in that place of the fountain of vibrations above the head at Sahasrara. Our attention above the head. Keeping attention above the head, not this thought, not this thought. Thoughts run away. keeping our hands open on our lap, just being aware of what we feel. Maybe there's some coolness in the palms of our hands, perhaps some heat. Ultimately, it's the cool breeze that we want to feel. But the heat is a good sign in that it means that some clearing is taking place in us. The friction that's caused as our Kundalini clears, catches in our chakras, and we get the messages coming through on our hands through the way our nervous system works. We have a roadmap inside of us, so to speak, with our hands like receptors, receiving the messages about where our subtle system is at. As we open our eyes, we can take our right hand above the top of the head, several centimeters, and just see what we feel there. Do we feel maybe a gentle puffing or pulsing coming up into the palm of our hand, from the top of our head? Remember, we can move a little higher up there to see what it feels like. We can come a little bit closer to the head, not too close though, so we're not actually just getting the heat from our physical head. Remember, we can go forward a little bit, just experiment with our own situation and tune into what we feel. We've checked with our right hand. We can do the same with our left hand. Just checking. If we're not used to this, sometimes it's a little feeling of uncertainty, not sure what it is we're meant to feel, but when we get it, when we feel it, we know, we realize. We feel something cool, something pulsing up into our hand. We can bring our left hand back to our lap and just sit for a moment, checking in with ourselves and noting how we feel now and comparing it to where we were at before we sat down to meditate together. Are we feeling more calm? Are we more centered? Do we have less thoughts bombarding us? Hopefully the answer is yes. Hopefully overall all of us are feeling really much better after sharing this meditation time together. And just a reminder to us that even though it's important for us to have our daily meditation session, we can actually also be in meditation in all sorts of different situations of our life. You can be standing in a queue at the bank or a shop, or driving, or having a conversation, or sitting an exam. As we continue our meditation journey, we find it becomes more natural for us to keep our attention here. We get used to it. It's a practice, like if we were learning a musical instrument. If we practiced every day, our progress would go much more quickly and build and really improve like really well. But if we only sort of did it once a week or twice a week or once every 3 weeks, we might find our progress isn't quite as great. So if I could just encourage us all to meditate even for a few minutes every morning and every evening, and it can become more natural to us to take our attention up here in any situation in our day-to-day life. And it's not a matter of pushing ourselves to stay in meditation for 40 minutes, but just go with the flow, trust our own process, trust our own connection. This is where we're being our own master of ourselves. trusting our own spiritual journey, a connection with our own individual mothering energy inside of us, connecting us to the divine energy all around. So shall we tie up our Kundalini and put on a bandhan together? Here we go. Remembering 1 knot on the first one, 2 knots the second time, and of course, third time 3 knots, because we have 3 main channels, and we'll now put on a bandhan 7 times, as we have 7 main chakras, so over in an arc. 4, 5, 6, 7. Hands together. Well, thank you for being a part of this. We do have the freemeditation.com.au website. If you would like to join in any pre-recorded meditation, you might have missed it live and come back to it. There's a lot there and various resources on the website, as we can see there. And we also have various places where people can participate in actual classes together, where we're at a venue together. You can see all the ones throughout Australia here, and if you're in countries other than Australia, you can see the international being pointed out there. I think that's what it says. Maybe I need to put my glasses on for a moment. There we go, worldwide, beautiful. Very much big thank you to Dimitri for doing the wonderful technical side as usual. Thank you, Mitcha. It's wonderful. Now to finish off our evening or day or wherever we are, whatever time zone, we're going to listen to the music and see a dance. It's a Kuchipudi dance. It's, I believe, filmed in Malta. And it's Indian classical dance. So some people might be quite familiar with this, but if you're not, it's wonderful. It's quite dramatic. There's a lot of intricacies to it with, you know, the different head movements and facial movements and eyes, and it's just wonderful to see. So I hope you enjoy it very much as we finish off our program. Thank you again. Bye for now.
भुवनं यस्य वाचिकं सर्ववाङ्मयम् आहार्यम् चन्द्र तारादि तं धिगिणङ्गुदकताहतगिटतकधित्तळङ्गुधित्तळङ्गुतं तधिगिणङ्गुदकताहतगिटतकतधिगिणङ्गुदधिगिणङ्गुतं धिगिणङ्गुदकताहतगिटतकधित्तळङ्गुदकतं किडतकदरिगिडतं तधिगिणङ्गुदकताहतगिटतक तधिगिणङ्गुदकतं किडतकदरिगिडतं धिगिणङ्गुदक
தாஹத்ததிந்தாம் தத்திக்கிட்டத்துங்கநாஹத்ததிந்தாம் நந்திக்கிட்டத்துங்க டிண்டிங்கெண்ண தொங்க டிண்டிங்கெண்ண தொங்க நுத்தக்கிட்ட கிண்ண தொங்க டிண்டிங்கெண்ண தொங்க நுத்தக்கிட்ட கிண்ண தொங்க டிண்டிங்கெண்ண தொங்க
प्रभुं प्राणनादं विभुं विश्वनाथं जगन्नाथनाथं सदानन्दभाजम् भवद्भव्यभूतेश्वरं भूतनाथं शिवं शङ्करं शम्भुमीशानमीडे गिरीन्द्रात्मजा संगृहीतार्धदेहं गिरौ संस्थितं सर्वदा सन्निगेहम् गिरीन्द्रात्मजा संगृहीतार्धदेहं गिरौ संस्थितं सर्वदा सन्निगेहम् परब्रह्म ब्रह्मादिभिर्वन्द्यमानं शिवं शङ्करं शम्भुमीशानमीडे परब्रह्म ब्रह्मादिभिर्वन्द्यमानं शिवं शङ्करं शम्भुमीशानमीडे कपालं
தக்கிடகிடதகதாம் திக்கிடகிடதகதை தக்கிடகிடதக தொங்கிடகிடதகதாம் தம் தக்கிடகிடதக திக்கிடகிடதக தொங்கிடகிடதகதை தை தக்கிடதகதாம் தாம் தம் திக்கிடதகதை தை தை தக்கிடதகதாம் தாம் தம் திக்கிடதகதை தை தை தம் ததிகினத ததிகினத தக ததிகினத தக ததிகினத தக திகு ததிகினத தக்க திக்கு ததிகினத சட்டவன முனி ஜன சகல சுராசுர சண்முக பாத கிஞ்சினிச்சம் சட்டவன முனி ஜன சகல சுராசுர சண்முக பாத கிஞ்சினிச்சம் ஜம் தக்கிடகிடதக திக்கிடகிடதக தொங்கிடகிடதக நங்கிடகிடதக தக்கிடதக திக்கிடதக தொங்கிடதக நங்கிடதக கிண்ணம் தடிக்கு தடிக்குதம் கிண்ணம் தடிக்கு தடிக்குதே தாக்குடே குதக்கிட தொங்கிடகிடதே தங்கிடதே கித்தம் தங்கிடதே கித்தை தங்கிடதே கிந்ததே ஜெத்ததேன தததே ஜெத்ததேன தததே ஜெத்ததேன கண்டதேன தததே ஜெத்ததேன கண்டதேன தததே ஜெத்ததேன கண்டதேன தததே ஜெத்ததேன கண்டதேன தரகிடதே 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 தத்தின் தரகிடதே 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 தத்தின் தரகிடதே 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 தத்தின்